So let's get straight with it. Bit of a whipsaw price action day today. So what we're going to do is just going to quickly navigate the markets, what's hitting the news, and how that's going to help us understand what we can expect from Bitcoin. But the topic is Bitcoin to 100K before 2025. Let's start with the program, ladies and gentlemen, understand exactly what's been going on. So here we go. So the market today, it's been a little bit mixed. Now, this is usually the case when we're getting close to a major news announcement, and that news announcement is pretty evident. Nvidia giving us their earnings announcements on Wednesday, and it says here at the close of the market. So that day is going to be very, very interesting with NASDAQ and the S&P across the board. But looking at everything across the board, you can see Nvidia itself has been smacked today, down minus 1.29%. But that's not bad, given that Nvidia usually is very volatile, and it can have plus 4% days, and it can also have minus 4% days. But overall, I'd say it's been doing okay. Tech across the board, Microsoft's been all right, Apple's been okay, and Google has been doing relatively well. So it looks like it's been pretty decent in the market overall. Now, Tesla, man, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it didn't really gap up that much. But if we just quickly have a look at Tesla, it got some good news today from Trump, big time. Check this out. Tesla jumps up because Trump says that he's going to ease off on the self-driving regulations. Now, the thing that you got to understand with Tesla is it does rely on a lot of its sales in China, and so does Apple. Now, speaking of Apple, you've got this flavor right here. Apple is now looking at creating this AI wall tablet. For what? You flopped it with the headset, the VR headset. That was too expensive. How are you going to compete against Alexa or Google? You know, how many of you got Alexa and Google Home? You know, so if Apple's going to come in, I mean, I'm not really interested in a tablet on my wall, and it's going to be an interesting one. I think they're really trying to get Warren Buffett's attention, because this guy, he sold off a lot of his stake in Apple. Now, that could make sense because of this. Check this out. In front of you guys, you've got this 1 year performance of all the sectors that have been trading in the markets. Look at value. Right now, financial markets are smashing it, in the sense the financial sector is doing well with a 41% increase for the year. Okay. Technology comes in line at 39%. And then, of course, communication services comes in at 31%. And, of course, down below, you can see healthcare doing relatively well, but everything seems to be doing good. All right. Year-to-date performance, technology has smashed it with a 30% gain. Do you understand now when I'm saying to you all that value is so much in the stock market? How much more of a gain can you get when it gets to the point where the investor's going to be like, oh, I might actually not consider buying it because it's a little bit expensive, which takes me over to this bad boy right here. Check this. What have we been waiting for with this? I said to you last week that this is the smart money, dumb money chart, which tells us that when the blue line's going down, it effectively tells you that smart money is effectively selling. And what's been going on? Price has been appreciating across the board. Retail's been jumping in. Remember, just from the week up to the 13th of November, $56 billion came into the S&P. That's retail money. Now, what we're looking at down below here is a big spike on the smart money. So if smart money has been selling in the sense where they've been selling their stock as price has been going up, if the blue line's coming up, that only means that price in principle should be coming down by the principle of this chart right here. Now, there's something that's going to be bugging me about Bitcoin going to 100K, is this projection right here from Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has come around and said that they think that the dollar is going to be stronger for longer, all right? Now, in essence, that could be the case because of what tariffs could be coming into play by Trump and what policies he's actually going to be putting out there. And it's effectively backed up by this gentleman over here. Look at this. This dude, Tyler Durden, right? If you read this guy's articles, this guy is brutal. He tells you he's just very brutal. And he says inflation is not going anywhere. Does he have a point? Check this out. If you go over to the charts and look at the 2-year yield and you look at the 10-year yield itself, right? It starts to paint a picture about where investors' heads are at, okay? They're not going into the bonds. They're not. And if you're not going into the bonds, what does that mean? Well, it effectively means that investors aren't looking to take on risk because they think that the future is not going to be looking any good. So then when you have a look at the 10-year bonds market, you can see, okay, it looks like it's trading nicely, but then you got this big gap over here. That's a bit of a problem. And remember, Druckenmiller is short on the bonds, and he's committed 20% of his portfolio and his fund as a short on the bonds market. So this could be something that could be brewing in the future. But remember what I've said before. We need to see a market crash in order for Bitcoin to really tether away from the idea of following the stock market. Now, when we look at Bitcoin itself, we just look at this ratio right here with the stable coins. That tells us that there's a lot of buying from retail, because when the line goes down and you can see it's pointing lower, it tells us that investors are exchanging dollar, USDT, to start buying Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin's price. It's now succeeding to significant levels and it's not looking nice. Quickly going over into Bitcoin's price action to put things into perspective, you can see that Bitcoin's doing very well inside of this 91 region. And I think Bitcoin, quite frankly, is going to be trading sideways up until Wednesday because of Nvidia's earnings announcements. Now, when we look at the calendar, when you actually put on medium impact news announcements, you can see that we've got nothing much. We've got the building permits and the G20 meeting, which is happening from from today and then going into tomorrow as well. We don't really have anything to be too concerned about. I mean, the Canadian dollar is going to be giving us its CPI reading. So those of you trading Forex, you might want to be paying attention to USDCAD, because if CPI comes in line with what they're expecting, and it says here that they're expecting it to go up by 0.3% on their CPI month on month, that logically could effectively send USDCAD to the upside, which will have a little bit of a problem with oil as well. So those of you that are trading oil and USDCAD, all right, and oil, wait for that information to come out, because you will see some volatility coming into play with the dollar CAD and oil's price as well, which effectively means if their inflation is going up, that means USD CAD is going to go up against the Canadian dollar. Oil's price is going to effectively come down because Canada is one of the largest producers, or exporters, should I say, of American oil, okay? Of oil, sorry. So just pay attention to that as it starts to come into play. Now, what I've been doing, guys, is I've been paying attention to what's going on in crypto, and this news has come out regarding Trump. Like I said to you all before, Trump is all about crypto and he's making it apparent with people, all right? He wants to start his, Trump Media wants to buy this crypto trading platform, Bakkt, and it sends his shares for the DGT pretty much relatively decent to the upside. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, this is great for the moon boy because you're like, oh my God, Trump is endorsing cryptocurrency. That's obviously true. However, remember, Trump is all about the US dollar, which makes sense as to why Goldman Sachs sees the dollar increasing overall. Now, quickly just going over to the dollar to help us understand what we can expect from Bitcoin. Remember when Saylor turned around and said that he believes Bitcoin is going to succeed the 100K in 2025? Well, look how close we are to 2025. What does that mean? Does it mean that Bitcoin in principle is going to stay at this range? Well, looking at the way the dollar is appreciated right now, it's currently at 105, okay? 105.8%. So that effectively means that you're going to be getting 5.8% appreciation on anything that you buy with your US dollar. That's what the fundamentals say with the US dollar itself. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, okay? Going into the ETF itself, we don't really have that much activity from BlackRock, but Grayscale has been dumping quite a little bit of Bitcoin, and ARK has also been doing the same thing. If you can see, I don't even know if you can see quite clearly. All right, so yeah, you've got this, look at this flavor right here. They're offloading the Bitcoin ETF, and that's investors who are coming into the ETF and they're making a bit of a return. Remember, they're paying fees on that ETF. So depending on the size of the amount of shares that they've got in the ETF, it's going to be reflective in these transactions. Why? Because if they're offloading and taking profits, then those investors are going to be pretty happy. And then when you go over to the ETF itself, you can see that Bitcoin, look at it, man, 52. It's forming a nice little M formation on the ETF itself. So BlackRock has been pretty quiet. I haven't seen the balance increase. So it's actually gone from 472 to 471. So they may have offloaded just a little bit. But I would say that you guys need to be very cautious with the way Bitcoin's price action is behaving. Today has been a good day, all right? So Platinum members, if you're not part of the Platinum membership, go check it out because today's setups were actually playing out really, really well. So Euro did fantastic. We wanted to see Euro make a move to the upside to hit our target of 105.941. We quickly go over to Euro, and you can see it cleared that target, 905, 989. It made the move to the upside. So the guys that played Forex today would have seen success in Euro. Quickly going over to gold as well. We wanted to see gold make a move to the upside. And this is applying the hybrid system and block principles. Wanted to see that 2620, and we then saw gold make a beautiful move to the upside today. And you can see, come on, gold cleared that range and made a nice little recovery back up. Remember, they've been offloading gold quite some time, and they are effectively preparing for what could be the hedge. Remember, hedge investors, they will be buying gold as it drops. And look at all these vector candle points. They are effectively zones that price can effectively return back into. But I'd say the star of the shows today, guys, would be Bitcoin. So this is what we wanted to see with Bitcoin today. We wanted to see Bitcoin make a move to the downside, test the daily open to make a reversal back up to clear out the 92,066 point, okay? Now, when we go over to Bitcoin itself, you can see it did that exact same move. Look at that. Perfect move with Bitcoin. They came down towards the daily open, swept that liquidity, and then made the reversal, hit that little target up there. Happy days. So I know the guys made some flavor today on Bitcoin. We did the same thing with Ethereum as well. Wanted to see Ethereum try and make a nice little move to the upside, 3,149. And then we go over to Ethereum. You can see she just cleared that range. And I thought Ethereum wasn't going to do anything today. I thought it was just going to sit tight and just do nothing. But it did make the nice move to the upside. But notice what we said about the psychological ranges. They were selling from those points right there, and then they made the move up, and then they sold from that point, and price came back down yet again, okay? And finally, of course, we had Solana as well. Wanted to see Solana try and make a clearance towards the 249. Now, Solana's been behaving in a different way, man. It's itching towards that all-time high per se, but it's looking at it overall. To be fair, actually, no, Solana really didn't do anything today. It didn't even take it, but I do believe Solana is actually getting primed to pull a very interesting move, because you're going to see Bitcoin making them, say, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum are consolidating up until certain news announcements like Nvidia. I believe Solana could be making significant moves because it's so close towards its all-time high. Out of the three, Bitcoin's cleared its all-time high. Ethereum's had the day off. I mean, I have to even include XRP, but it hasn't cleared its all-time high, so forget that. But Solana looks like it's getting primed to pull a very interesting move to the upside, okay? Now, for those guys who are trading, just had this announcement, by the way, BTCC. Now, this is the preferred exchange that we recommend to everyone. Now, the great thing about this right now is this. You now can trade everything on BTCC. When I say everything, within reason. This is cryptocurrency, all right? If you go over to the select, where is it? Bloody hell. Let me refresh this. You can now trade Forex, you can trade stocks, you can trade pretty much everything. Go over to tokenized stocks. So those of you that want to trade on Nvidia, you can do that right now. You've got new stocks. You've got the German stock exchange. You've got the Dow Jones on there. You can trade the NASDAQ. You can trade the Nikkei, the Japanese stock exchange. So when we're talking about the Japanese yen and the carry trade, you can exploit that over there by testing out the JPN 225. Of course, you've got MicroStrategy. Now, with MicroStrategy, check this out just for a split second. Someone's been offloading MicroStrategy options. Look at these orders here. 3.2 million, 4.2 million, and 5 million. MicroStrategy sell calls. They're favoring lower prices on MicroStrategy. So that could be something about Bitcoin's price action that we've got to be taken into consideration with. But with BTCC, you can now trade Forex. Main pairs are Aussie dollar, Euro USDT, and pound dollar, and of course, New Zealand, the Kiwi. So those are realistic, not the majors, but the three majors would be Aussie dollar, Euro, and pound. Now, why would you want to be interested in that? Because you can now hedge across the whole thing. If you're in a long on Bitcoin and Bitcoin's not really doing anything, and you notice the NASDAQ make a nice little move to the upside and you want to try and take advantage of its momentum, then you can go and trade the NASDAQ by looking at Tech 100 over here. You can hedge yourself. You can protect yourself on several assets on BTCC. So if you want to check that out, then it's great for anyone in the US because you don't need VPN and you do not need KYC. And the majority of Americans in the US need KYC to even touch Forex. So go check that out. That's in the description of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. It is worth its weight. Now, quickly, my trading day today. So I shared to you guys my trading from this morning. And look at these two trades that I took on the NASDAQ, right? If you just look at them structurally, what is it that you're seeing? So the first trade that I took was this morning. On the principle of a potential M formation because I got in a little bit late. Okay, well, a little bit sooner than expected, right? But I was expecting that there was a bigger M formation coming into play, and then they formed a little M formation, and then they ripped it to the downside, and that's where NASDAQ made a reversal back up. I then took advantage of building some more positions over here, and the M formation came in afterwards. Now, in the morning, we managed to make $3,875 on our real account, so those are the plays right there, and that's the real account at the top side right there, live hedging account. And then we then finished the day off with some more trades, and we cleared through 6,896. So total made another $3,000 on top. All right. And that was just trading NASDAQ. But NASDAQ today was just doing wonders with the move and the float to the upside. So when you witness NASDAQ doing that, please take into consideration that they're actually floating the move to the upside. And that's what that float was right there. It's in essence front running the move. Okay. They were front running all day today. And that's where I was looking for the short. But it was very tricky trading the NASDAQ overall, okay? Now, quickly going over into Bitcoin for the holders themselves, and then we'll finalize it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. This is what needs to happen with Bitcoin to sustain the idea of making a higher move. If Michael Saylor believes that Bitcoin's not going to be clearing 100K in 2025, because he did say Bitcoin will clear 100K in 2025, what do we need to see happening? Well, holders, you need to be paying attention to these two ranges right here. You got a top range right there at 93,297. And then, of course, you've got this range right here with the stop and volume candle. We're not really seeing the conviction from Mr. Market Maker. What we're seeing is retail coming in and trying to take advantage of this rally to the upside. So spirits are high. And yes, we know that the stablecoin ratio is showing that there's a lot of buying. But if we just quickly go over to Coinbase Premium, all right, this Coinbase Premium is very important because it's going to effectively tell me who's buying and who's selling. And I'm going to look at it in the flip side to it. All right. So right now you can see on Coinbase Premium Index, it shows us that there's a lot of buying by retail. Okay. Retail. When it's green, I look for shorts or I look for Bitcoin to come in at a discount. When you look at Bitcoin over here, you can see that they're not really sustaining above the 93 zone. Now, because of what's going on in the week with data, and if we do get any more information from the Bank of Japan and, of course, the flash manufacturing data for the US, when that comes out and tells us that the US economy is doing fine, dollar is going to shoot up, euro is going to come down, the yen's going to get slapped across the face, and then that would then be consistent with Bitcoin making a little bit of a pullback. Because the question is, how many of you are actually prepared to buy Bitcoin in these ranges? I would hope that some of you say no, you want to wait for a little bit of a discount. But what you've got to be careful of is if Bitcoin does make a sweep up and hit its all-time high again, if there's no conviction in the close of that candle on the day that it does break above the all-time high, you're probably getting set up for a trap. In other words, Bitcoin could pull the dirty and go, stop, run to the upside, get everyone committed, 95K, oh my God, 5K away from 100K, and then bring it back down into reality. So with that being said, going into tomorrow, we don't really have that much to be worried about in terms of news announcements other than the Canadian inflation data. But what I will be doing, guys, is I'll be checking in with you all in the morning. Remember, if you are new, be sure to like and subscribe. Trying to keep the live short and sweet. And make sure you get some sleep too. All right? Mad love and respect, gang. Platinum members, I got some flavor for you. Catch you in a bit. Peace. Why is he winking so much?